Hello and welcome to the Voice of Intuition podcast. My name is Susan Jane and I believe that trusting your intuition is the best way to live your life with meaning and purpose. Each week you will hear about how you can connect, develop and trust your intuition through the wonderful array of guests we have on the show and my own personal experiences. Join me to understand how your intuition can guide you towards a life full of meaning and loving purpose. Hello and welcome to the Voice of Intuition podcast. I'm Susan Jane, your host for the podcast. And today we have a very special guest. I think I do say that every week, but it's exciting because I get to meet so many nice people. I love it. So they all are wonderful guests as far as I'm concerned, and they all bring this beautiful energy and different modalities and different understandings of life. But before we go any further, I just want you to subscribe, like, or share the podcast so other people can get an understanding of what we do here. But before we go any further, I want to introduce Miranda to the podcast. Welcome, Miranda.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here.
And whereabouts are you? I've got to ask. You're in Florida, aren't you?
I am in Florida.
And of course, I'm on the Gold Coast. So worlds apart, but connected spiritually or energetically anyway. So it's all good. What I want to ask you about today, because you do energetic alignment and human design mentoring. So, you know, it's a big mouthful and a lot of people wouldn't understand what it is. And so we want to get into that. But first of all, I want to know how you got into it. What led you up that path to human design mentor?
Yeah, there's a lot that actually led me to the path. So I can move along the path a little bit in a direction so you can understand why I feel like energetic alignment work is so important. At a younger age, probably teenage years first, I was definitely not a happy kid. I had a lot of struggle, a lot of traumas going on in my life, and I moved out at a very young age. I was on my own at a very young age, and I lived a life that was really full of one bad mistake after another. It seemed like I chose one thing after another that just kept proving to myself that I was unlovable, unwantable. So I kept doing that, every choice. And I thought that was just my life, and that's just the way it was. I was going to have a life full of struggle. So then I ended up having my first child. And I will say I was 21 at the age, and he actually gave me a purpose. So this was at the first time in my life that I actually, because I mentioned previously, love myself, right? So I did not love myself. There was definitely a lack of self-love in who I was. But he gave me a purpose. So I started actually focusing more. I had a purpose to live for. I had a reason to live, a reason to work hard, a reason to work towards something. And I continued to do that. But as I grew and grew, I realized that each one of my children has given me a special step in life. And I feel like they were given to me for a reason, so that I could really learn to love myself and then step into a higher purpose to help others kind of tune into their purpose, their life, their love of self. Each one of my kids gave me an experience that makes me now that I'm older, I have the time to reflect and go back to the fact, oh, my first son gave me groundedness. My second son actually gave me the power to leave an abusive relationship. I left because of him. My daughter actually gave me my self-love because she is a mirror. So it is through these awarenesses that I am here today. There's other stuff that I have integrated, like yoga. I've been a dedicated practitioner for 10 years, Ashtanga, pranayama, all of the goodness. That gave me the time and stillness to really see that I wasn't happy in a couple of my choices in life. And I started to make different decisions. And then from there, I went into coaching and found human design. And human design, honestly, like yoga gave me the stillness to really love myself and the stillness to know that I was making the wrong decisions and I was living in momentum. But when I found human design, it gave me the tangible evidence in seeing that everything that I had believed and found out about myself or thought about myself through my practice of yoga was actually the truth. So I had a very hard time with believing in myself. So was I making this up? Am I truly feeling this way? Am I just making all this stuff up? This is not true. But then as soon as I saw my chart and it all was there, it was like, okay, none of this, everything happened for a reason. I'm exactly where I should be. However, now that I know this, I'm going to be more bold and I'm going to make more impact to help others.
Yes, it gives you that sort of that concrete, doesn't it? It gives you the understanding. Once you find that tool that resonates with you and allows you to just grow and develop so quickly.
And you have this knowing, at least for me, knowing that it kind of, there was many times I would look at my chart and I would start crying and I'd be like, oh, I knew that. I just knew that. And then to have that right in front of you and to be able to see it and acknowledge it and then be able to say, okay, well, inadequacy, that's a huge part of my life. That's just part of who I am. Nothing's wrong with me. It's part of what I'm here to learn. It gives you that bold action to be able to step away from that and not fear it so that you can really make the impact that you are here to make.
Yeah. And also with the chart too, having a visual. So you've got something to look back, something to refer back to, something to something to refer back to really, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Giving you that, just reminding you constantly, sort of go, well, have a look at the chart. What's happening there? Have a look at that. What's happening there? And with this chart, the human design chart, does that change? Is that like as we go through our life and things happen, does that change, or does it stay as this is you, this is your life?
That's the beautiful thing. It does not change. It's the same regardless of where you're at in life. And that's when people ask me, what's the difference between this and other personality tests? That's the difference. The difference I feel with other personality tests that you do these questions, there's conditioning there. There's beliefs that you created about yourself from experiences. There's things that you think you should answer this way instead of that way. So it has conditioning. Whereas with this is an imprint of your energy, where you have consistent energy, where you have variable energy at the time of your birth. And then as you live through life, you create these beliefs and these experiences and these thoughts about yourself. But then you're able to reflect and go back to that chart and be like, you know what? Honestly, that belief about me morphing myself into different people every time around different people is because I have an open G center. I take in other people's identity. That's part of my gift. So nothing's wrong with me. I don't morph myself. It's because I didn't understand that I was taking in other people's identity and thinking it was myself. So what this chart does is it actually gives you the opportunity to let go of all that, to look at the chart and reconnect to who you truly were the day that you were born, the minute that you were born.
Okay, so it works on the minute. So it works on your time of birth and areas like that. Is that where it gathers its data?
Yes, it's the time of your birth, birth date, birth time, and birthplace. And then this beautiful chart comes out. A lot of people don't know what it's all about. And they're like, whoa, this is like, there's like half lines, whole lines, numbers. There's a lot of information. And the way that I teach it really is through a layering effect, because like I said, there's a lot of information. People can get overwhelmed with the information. But what happens when you have all the information, but none of the integration? None of the information works anyway, because you're not doing the work. So it's all about learning little things. Type in strategies first, learning the things, implementing into your body, implementing into your life, seeing how it shifts you. How are you responding? How are you feeling? and then moving deeper into like the archetypes of the planets and the lines and the hanging gates and the channels. There's a lot. So I just want to say a little bit of info, integration, and then go back to the chart, just like you had said about reflecting back and going back to the chart at different instances in life.
Okay, so it's sort of when you're looking at that, like you say, you're getting so much information. So you're basically getting a life's worth of information, and it does get overwhelming. You do need to take it step by step, and you see a lot of these personality tests and different things like that on websites, and you can grab them all there. But like you say, you're gathering that theory, you're gathering the information, but you're not doing anything with it. You're not, because if there's too much, you get overwhelmed, so you're not going to do anything with it. Or if there's stuff there, you sort of just hold on to a little bit, but not necessarily go down deep and get a good understanding of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So when you're doing this, because what I want to get an understanding of, because you've turned around and said, get us out of your head and into the body, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we do up this chart. We have an understanding of the chart. Oh, and before I go any further, if you are interested in these charts, contact Miranda on her website, which is Miranda Mitchell .com. It's going down on the ticker tape if you're watching on the video. So it's Miranda, Miranda hyphen mitchell.com. So mirandamitchell.com. You'll be able to see it all there or connect with her there. But I want to just go one more step further. So what you do is you get an understanding of their birth. And what if they don't know their birth time?
That's a very good question. We just had
I
a question
don't
on
know my birth time.
Oh, okay. So birth time is very important because the birth time is where it places the planets where they're at in a gate. So if you don't know your birth time, I would definitely try to find as close as possible. I've worked with some people that didn't know their birth time, and I had asked them, well, do you know anyone, like your parents or anyone that is around at that time, to just know, okay, was it in the morning? Was it in the afternoon? Was it between 8 and 12? Like, what's your guesstimate? And then from there, you can actually run the chart every 15 minutes or so to see how much of the chart changes. Sometimes the chart doesn't change a lot, and sometimes it really does. So that is one way. You can also ask to get your birth certificate, a certified copy, and that sometimes has your birth time on it. So you can always go to that as well. And also, if you've tried everything and you just can't figure that out, there are people that do birth reconciliations that you can contact, and they can help support you in that.
Okay. All right. Because I know mine was in the morning, and I know I think it was after 8 in the morning. And I believe it was before 12, but I don't. Yeah, that would be all I know. And it's definitely not on my birth certificate. I am way too old to have anything like that on my birth certificate. I can assure you. But yeah, that's because that's quite, like you said, that's quite important. And I know when I've had my birth chart done, there was a change between early morning, and I thought I was born early morning. It wasn't until I talked to Dad, and he said, no, the midwives came and they don't come during the early hours of the morning. So it had to be after 8 o'clock because the midwives came. So so that's all I know, but he couldn't remember. Mind you, he had 8 kids. So I understand that he doesn't remember. That's fine. But
Yes.
there was a difference between early morning when I thought it was and that mid-morning type thing. There was a change in my, I think it was moon sign.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was a change.
Yeah, the moon
But what I
moves
liked
the
about,
fastest.
sorry, what would you say?
The moon moves the fastest, so it's
Ah,
always the moon that does shift.
yes, yeah. So, but what happened was, so I had my birth chart done as far as that goes, but the visuals and the understanding behind it was almost overwhelming, like you said, almost overwhelming. Whereas I find that with your chart, with the human design chart, it is done up more. I don't know, it's easier to see. It's easier to get that. I don't understand what all the lines are and all the numbers, like you say, but the visual content of it makes it easier to see and possibly learn it in a better way, if that makes sense. I felt like with the chart, the birth chart, I couldn't look at it and make sense of it. I could read the different planets, alignments and stuff. I couldn't make sense of it. But when you've got that human design chart, you have a list of what it can be, or, you know, when you're doing it properly, you have an understanding of it. So you can look at one part and go, well, that's connected from point A to point B, and it's connected this way. And it makes that logical understanding to it.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask a question. I just rattled on then, didn't I? So this is the question. So I'm just asking you, why are you talking about getting it out of our head? Because it is quite logical. I must have been going that way. It is quite logical getting it out of our heads and into our bodies.
Yeah.
Because my head's part of my body. I just thought I'd let you mention that.
Yeah. Well, you know, and the thing is we've all been taught to get in, like, figure it out. Like, we've all been taught and conditioned that we have to figure things out in our mind. But intuitively, we know we have gut feelings. We know when our hair and our body stands up. We know when we don't feel right around a certain person. Like, that is connection to the body. That is our body, the subtle body responding without our mind. So what's happened is we have actually been so conditioned to work from the mind that we are no longer listening to the body. When human design really is about the mind body connection, but it's really your body knows first. Then we get into the mind, and then we're like, okay, well, does that make sense? Should I do this or should I not? So then we make a decision out of our head instead of the decision out of our body.
Okay, hang on, because you went a little bit funny. The internet went a little bit funny then, so you sort of stopped and went,
I heard you say that. And I was like,
yeah. So, and I guess what we're looking at here is just the terminology behind it. So your mind is like your thinking area, and your body is more of your what you class as your feeling area.
yeah, like, yes. So I'm going to go through a little bit of the 5 types and then kind of go into what it feels like in the body. So there are 5 types in the human design. There's the generator and manifesting generator. We clump those together a lot of the time. They're not the same, but they do have weight to respond from the gut. So we clump those together a lot. So for the manifesting generator and generator, the body responds as far as a gut response. You just know in your gut, you know. And I honestly I've become so in tune with it that I actually feel my gut kind of, like, I feel it. They squeeze, like when it's an no, I just can feel it. And when it's a yes, it's expansive. It's like excitement. So it's the body response to and for the generator types. Now, for the projector and manifestor both have different authority types. So this could mean they could feel their response in their spleen, which is in the now, knowing. It's like an intuitive insight where they just know. And the thing for them, if it's in that response, is they have to, in the now, trust themselves. So what happens for them a lot of the time is they'll just know, oh, this is my next right step. But then what happens is the brain takes over. They question things and like, okay, was that really an intuitive hit? Did I really feel that? Or am I just making that up? And then what's already happened is they've already missed the moment because they didn't trust their body and their intuitive response through the spleen. Then the emotional solar plexus, is when you have an emotional wave. So anyone can have an emotional wave except for the reflector. The 5 types are manifesting generator, projector, manifestor, and reflector. So with the emotional wave, that response is more of a long process. So when you have an emotional wave, you experience emotional highs and emotional lows. It's fluctuations, not lows like in a negative, but more so fluctuations. So you experience emotional highs, or if you make a decision that is out of that emotional high and you know you have an emotional wave, then that decision may be good in the moment, but may not feel so good tomorrow. So
Yes.
when you have an emotional wave, you have to follow that wave. And then the reflector, they have a lunar cycle, because as you look at the chart, there are, like Susan said, you can almost see there's shapes. It kind of looks like a body. You can see, okay, that's my head, that's my ajna, my third eye. So you can kind of see it. Once you look at all the chart, the reflector has every single shape open, meaning it's white, meaning that they take in all the energy from everybody else, and they're kind of like a mirror reflection of what's going on in their environment. So they actually have to wait 28 days to make a aligned decision that is true for them.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And to understand the different, the generator, manifesting generator, projector, manifesting, and the reflector. Whoops, I think I went too many. I wrote it down, and I think I wrote it down wrong. There's
okay.
5, you said, isn't there? 5 types?
5, yes.
Generator, manifesting generator, projector, manifestor, and reflector. No, I got that right. Yeah, because you've got your manifestor and you've got your generator, and then you've got your manifesting generator.
Yes.
That's right. And then projector and reflector.
Yeah.
So how do you work them out? That is from the day that they were born, the time they were born, and the place they were born?
Yeah, so if you enter that in, what will happen is this body graph comes out. It'll tell you what energy type you are. It'll tell you what profile lines you are. You'll see where you have definition. So definition means colored in areas.
Yeah.
Anywhere in your chart that is colored in, whether it's be red, black, yellow, pink, anything that is colored in your chart means there's definition. So that means that is where you have consistent energy. That's where you put energy out into the world. It's part of who you are. And any area in the chart that is white, whether it be a shape, a line, that means you have variable energy. So what that means is you actually receive energy from other people and the environment. So once you put the information in there, a chart will come out and it'll tell you what type you are. So basically, a manifesting generator and generator will have the little pink square in the center colored in. What that means is it's work and life force energy. So generator types love to work, are here to create in the physical form, here to be of service, are always have that energy to work. Now, a projector, a manifestor, and a reflector will not have that little square, pink square colored in. So that means their work energy and life energy, meaning work and life force energy, is variable. So that means they take in other people's, us generator types, energy, and then it amplifies. So what happens is they could totally feel like they're a generator type. They can totally feel they have all this amazing energy. But really what it means is they're taking in other people's energy. It's amplifying. And if they end up living their entire life that way, they end up burning out because that's not their energy. They actually need more rest than a generator type. So that's the biggest difference is the sacral, and then, which is that pink square, and then having it colored in or defined, or colored in or open.
That just makes so much sense, because I have often been around people where I've walked away from them and I've felt drained. And I think the terminology some people use is an energy vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some people that you willingly give energy to, or you just do that naturally anyway. And there's some that just like suck the life out of you. And it's like when you walk away from them. I was meeting up with a group of women. There was only 3 or 4 of us, and we were doing a lot of business work and things like that. And I loved being with them. They were wonderful ladies. But as soon as I'd go away from them, I'd get in the car and I'd almost burst into tears. I would be exhausted. And that sort of makes sense. And if they're getting their energy from other people, that makes sense. But if you are like that and you are getting your energy from other people, how do you stop actually draining people?
It's not really that they drain people. There are people that can definitely drain you, but that is more so of conditioning. That is more so of a person not knowing themselves, not knowing their energy type, always asking and wanting more. Like they just drain you unknowingly.
Yes.
Now, if you have a sacral, like this is the pink square, you just have that work of life force energy, but you do get tired when you are around other people and constantly, let's say you have a 2-hour work session, right? If you don't have definition in your willpower, you definitely you'll get out of their space. You'll need to rest. So there's different elements of the chart that this is where the fine tuning comes in. This is where learning about, okay, what do I have defined? What do I have open really comes in, because once you're aware of it, you can either protect yourself. Let's say you're a projector, okay? You don't have that sacral definition. So you go out in a coffee house and you take in people's energy, work and life force energy, and it amplifies and you get all this work done. You're feeling great, but then you need to go home and rest and you need to take a break and you need to get out of other people's energy. Because if you don't, then you'll be exhausted. Now, a generator type, if you give and give and give and give and give, and you don't rest, because just because you're a generator doesn't mean you don't need to rest. You still need to have downtime. There's many times I will work for a couple hours. I'll go lay down for 20 minutes. I'm exhausted. I'll just lay down flat for 20 minutes and then I'm good. It's like I just need to decompress whatever energy is there. So going deeper into the chart really gives you awareness of what is affecting you in certain ways around certain people.
Yeah. Okay, that's really cool. So it's about getting that understanding. So when you talk about the types, they're the types, the 5 types, and there was something else you were talking about too. There was
the strategy.
Yes.
Was that it?
I think that was where we were going. So when you're talking about until you connected with Miranda, Miranda-Mitchell.com, and get a better understanding of what you are and who you are. You might not know if you're a generator or a manifesting generator, but when you do know, you can come back and listen to this podcast, because Miranda's going to give us some hints on what were you going to give us hints? Oh, how to do these strategies if you're in that particular way.
Yes. So, and for those that I know, Susan so beautifully put my website up there. So on that website, I do have a place where you can enter in your birth date, birth time, and birthplace. I run your chart by hand for free. I send it to you with a little information and a little video. So that way you kind of know what type you are and you kind of have a little bit of an action step. So I'm going to go through each one of the 5 types and just kind of go a little bit into what the strategy is and means. So the strategy is for each type, there's a way that we are designed to best make the right decisions for us. Meaning we're not pushing, we're not initiating, we're not trying to be seen or heard. It's the way that is best, the decisions that are best for us in alignment with our body, so that we are not exhausting ourselves, so we aren't pushing, and so we are sustainable energy. We want to be sustainable. So the manifesting generator is a hybrid of the manifestor and the generator. So what that means is their strategy is a little bit longer than the others. So the manifesting generator, let's just say you have this idea that you want to start a podcast, okay? So you ask, is a podcast right for me? Now, you're not going to figure it out in your head. You're not going to write down all the pros and all the cons. Is the podcast right for me? Then you let it go. Now, as a generator type, you'll notice that I said generator types are here to create the physical form. So what that means, as a manifesting generator, you're going to receive signs on the physical form. So what that means is someone could come up to you and say, you know what? I love hearing you on podcasts. You should really start your own. Or someone can send you an email and say, it'll be a banner that says, start your podcast now. Or maybe you'll see a sign that a word sticks out. I'm a manifesting generator, and I can tell you firsthand this does happen. Words stick out in signs for me. That's how I see things. So that is something showing up for me to respond to. So as a manifesting generator, we're here to respond. We're not here to start things. We're not here to get things going. We're here to have an idea, sit back, wait to respond to what shows up, feel it in our gut. Does that feel good to me? Yes. Then take action. Rather than, oh, I think I want to start a podcast. I'm going to figure out all the pros and cons. I'm going to meet 10 people. I'm going to start the process. And then by the time I'm done, I'm like, oh, that wasn't for me. So I've wasted all this time. So what happens when you're able to sit back and wait for things to show up to you and follow your gut, then you know it's an alignment for you. It'll be easy and it is not wasted energy. Now, a generator type is a little bit different. They also sit back to respond. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't go into the informing for the manifestor. So the manifesting generator also needs to, after something shows up for them, you need to inform people that you are around. Hey, you know what? I think I'm going to start a podcast. This isn't for permission. This is just to say, you know what? I think I'm going to start it. And it's just because if you don't, what's going to happen is they're going to get angry at you because they won't understand what you're doing. So the manifesting generator has the generator and manifesting energy. The manifesting energy is very powerful, very fast. So if a manifesting generator just decides to sit back, not inform, hey, you know what, I'm going to do a podcast, and everyone there around is going to be like, 2 days ago you were doing this and now you're doing this. So what is going on? So then there's resistance, and you're really trying to create that sustainable and ease. Okay. So there's the inform and then the action. Now the generator is waiting to respond, sitting back, gut response, take action. Okay. Now the projector is waiting to be invited. So what does that mean? The projector, like I mentioned, can take in other people's amplified energy of work and life force. So a lot of projectors are really off balance because they think they're these superhuman people that can be doing all the time, but they're really not. And what's happening is you're burning yourself out and you're not resting. So a projector really cannot have a 9-to-5 job, needs to basically have 20 hours of rest and 4 hours of work. So what that means is if you're not receiving invitations, if you're not receiving people, hey, would you mind being on my podcast? Or would you mind start coaching me in this way? Or would you start a program showing up to you to be invited into? What that means is you are not resting enough. I've worked with many projectors that are like, okay, so I'm supposed to sit around and just wait to be invited, right? But the truth is, no, you can work on your website. You can go do all the things to prepare. However, don't initiate and start the process, because if you think of the name projector, what happens when you do something? It projects the energy out, which pushes people away. So you want to be invited, so it's open, so you don't push people away. So I always tell projectors, okay, if you're not receiving invitations, make sure that you're taking care of yourself with sleep, you're getting out in nature, you're doing what your body needs, you're letting your mind rest, You're trusting the process. And then I promise you, those invitations come up. And I've had numerous clients say, I just got up from a nap. And guess what? I just got 2 invitations. So there is that preparation, but also the trust in taking care of yourself. Now, the manifestor is basically what we're all told we should be. They make up 9%. I just want to say that 9% of society is manifestors, or are manifestors. They're the ones that receive those ideas and get to go start the process. They get to initiate things. They get to start things. But with them, what happens is a lot of times they don't want to finish. They want to get things started, but then they get bored or they want to move on. So for manifestors, it's very important for them to start the things and either have people support them in finishing, or know that, you know what, you may not finish things. You may just be the starter for things. They get the big, brilliant ideas. And then the reflectors, like I mentioned before, the barometers, they basically show us how society is doing wherever they're at. So if they're not thriving, they are not in a good environment. And it's important for them to follow their strategy, which is 28 days. And that is because it's a lunar cycle. So if you go into the chart, you'll see these little lines with these numbers, and those are gates. So what happens is the moon moves through each gate every 5 to 6 days. So with the reflector, what happens is each gate will get defined with the movement of the moon. So that they know that they're making the right decision, they have to wait 28 days, because that's the whole process of each gate activation that they then can say, yes, this is right for me, and it will feel good for me always.
Wow, that was a lot of information. I'm taking notes, and it's like, oh, wow. Now I've got to jump onto your website, which is, again, Miranda Mitchell.com. I'm going to jump on the website and get my chart again. I've had it done before, but I feel I did an early morning. I'm going to have to guess my time, and I'm just going to put down 10 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm just going to have to guess that. But I feel that that'll be close enough for it. But when you're going through all those, what is probably you said 9% for the manifestors. What is the most popular one out of all of it? Is it the manifesting generator?
So the generator, actually, but the manifesting generator and generator are pretty close. So the generator is 37% of society.
Yeah.
The manifesting generator is 33%. The projector is 20%. Manifestor is 9%, and the reflector is 1%.
Oh, okay. So 1%, yeah.
Yeah. So very rare for a reflector to know a reflector. And I just want to put emphasis on that. So I mentioned the sacral energy, work and life force, that pink box. So the manifesting generator and generator have that colored in. That's work and life force energy. It's 70% of society. So we are all having this work and life force energy. Now the projector, the reflector, and the manifestor have that open. So they're taking all that in. So that means you guys definitely need to have some alone time to let that energy release. Very important.
Sorry, Miranda, when you say they're taking all that energy in, what actually does that mean in the contents that you're talking about? Because I've thought about taking energy in, and it's usually a positive. I know I can put up the barriers to stop the negatives, but usually when you're taking in energy, it's like I'm in the nature and I'm taking all this beautiful, energy in and things like that. So I see it as a positive in that context. But as a reflector, or the other three that projector, manifestor, reflector, and generator, yeah. As they are taking in all that information, or that energy, what does that actually mean, or what does that feel like to them?
Yeah, so it can be both. It is it's about awareness, actually. So the generator does have the work life force energy, and so does the manifesting generator. So if you know that you're a projector, a manifestor, or a reflector, and you have things to get done and you don't feel like doing it, go out to a coffee house, because there's going to be at least one or two generators there where that you take in that just that energy that they have, that buzzing energy of work and life force. So you take that in so that you can finish whatever it is that you need to get done. Now, when you go home, it's important to rest and recover, because if you think about, when you're at like this big event, there's so much energy and you filled up, there's excitement and you feel like you can go for days. But then all of a sudden when you get alone, you crash.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're taking on that energy, and then you've got to allow your body to get through it and everything else. Especially, I guess, if you're taking on somebody else's energy, you are going to feel it. You are going to, you can use that buzz to get yourself going, but it's a bit like you get that high and then you come down. So you've got to take that into consideration. But I love that idea too, that if you're not feeling it, I'm sitting in my office, if I don't feel it, get out and go somewhere else and get a different energy and get a better understanding of it. Well, I know we're getting a bit low on time, Miranda, and I have every intention of jumping onto your website now and putting my times in and everything else. So I will see a video from you, I hope, soon. And rekindle that love of that the human design chart, because I remember doing it quite some time ago, but didn't sort of follow it through. I didn't realize that we could utilize it in the way that you're talking. I wasn't aware of it in that context. So that's really cool. So guys, if you want to connect with Miranda, jump on her website. But we've got about 2 minutes. Anything else you want to put forward before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I gave you so much information, everybody, and it might be overwhelmed. I know Susan was taking tons of notes, and that's where I say the information overload is there, believe me. And it's easy to get stuck into it, because then you start learning about things and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so true. And I just want to know more and more. But the most important thing is first, just get your chart, have the awareness of where there are white areas, open areas, that's the white, where there's definition. And then really look at your strategy. So what is your type? Manifesting generator, projector, manifestor, reflector. What is your strategy? And start doing that first. And just take little steps, because again, all the information just is overload. It's about doing the actual little steps. And that's what will change your life.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. That is so cool. Love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's it for us. Thank you so much for being on the show, Miranda. And again, connect with Miranda on her website. You'll be able to see that. It'll be down on the link as well. So that's us, guys. That's us for the week. Share, like, subscribe to the podcast, and get everyone out there. We all want to understand if we're manifesting generators or I'm thinking I'm a manifesting generator, but I can't remember. It was a long time ago. Who knows? But at least this time I can go into a little bit more and get more understanding from Miranda and really bring out the benefits of that. And again, it's a little bit different to your personality types, because, I don't know, you've got something to look at. You've got some way of, as we go through the motions and the things that happen in our lives, we've got something we can go back onto and look and get an understanding of. So it's really cool. Anyway, that is it from today. Let me find the little buttons I have to press. Have a great week, and we will see you next week. Okay, bye for now.